Am I audible? Hello everyone. We'll wait for some time. Uh, okay, we'll start in a moment. Yeah, there is a little lag between the internet, so that's why. Yeah, so I think I've got one question. Yeah, so let's start. So, hello everyone. So, this is a live session. After a long time, I'm doing live session. So, uh, very much interested to meet everyone and to answer your questions. So, right now, what I have uploaded so far is like certain machine learning algorithms. Some of the advanced concepts are there. And recently, yesterday, I started with data science interview questions because I find those kind of questions are most important rather than the concepts, so that people will get to know more about the interview questions and what all things that they can expect. So it will be in general. So that's why I started with the data science interview session. So it will be going on for a while. So we'll cover different kinds of questions and how you can orient yourself and how you can prepare yourself for any interviews related to machine learning, or whether it's for Python developer or for data scientist roles and so on. So we'll cover everything. So we'll have both Python interview questions, a mix of Python interview questions as well as machine learning, deep learning, everything will be there. So since that data science interviews or this kind of interviews are usually held with for a very long time, I mean for 1 hour, so they cover most of the things. So it can be considered like uh, there is everything in that, like machine learning or deep learning and Python. Yeah, some statistics related concepts will also be there, so we'll be covering all those things. Yeah, so that's it. So the following weeks, like I've planned a schedule, like for every week we'll be releasing one of the sessions, or with one data science interview video. I'll be covering two or three questions which is most commonly asked, or which can be, or which you can expect. So that is the idea. So okay, so I've got questions. It is asking best way to learn ML ops. Any book course you recommend? Also Docker. So Best way to learn ML ops. I would say I don't know exactly a particular book for ML ops, but what I have learned is from my previous company where I've worked way back in India. There, by doing it practically only, we learned, but we didn't follow any book or things like that. So actually we were into project, so in different projects we did different pipelines, and we get to know different technologies, and that's how we learned. But for book, I mean, there are many resources that is available, many good YouTube channels which specializes on CI/CD pipelines, and in that technologies like Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, and many other stuff. So yeah, so book, at the moment I am not aware of any books, but there are pretty good YouTube channels out there which have very really good content on that. Yeah, also for Docker I would say, like, don't follow any book, but instead you can look for any blog post, or uh, any YouTube channel, like, just do it practically so that you will have the idea of how these things are done. Yeah. Uh, Next question: what do you think data science is bubble? I didn't get that question. Can you rephrase that? Data science is bubble. Very strange question. Maybe some spelling mistake. Hmm. Can you suggest some of those good YouTube channel? Uh, For me, if I would say at the top of my head, if I remember, there is one channel called as Tech World with Nana. So she teaches this Docker technologies, or CI/CD, Kubernetes, different things, Terraform, Prometheus, how you can do monitoring, and how, like, you can implement your data science pipeline, and how you can do model retraining, and many steps. So that is one good uh, channel. There are pretty other channels also, but this is the one, that is Tech World with Nana. She teaches it very well. So I have also learned few of the things from that channel. Please make a series on transformers architecture. Yeah, so this thing actually, I've made a deep learning playlist, but I have only covered not too much. I think maybe 10 or 15 videos are there in that, but I definitely have a plan to enhance that particular playlist. But at the moment, I have a time crunch, so that's why I'm not able to focus on deep learning part, but I would definitely uh, would like to make in the near future, so if it's possible. But also I see, like, those are just theoretical explanations, and I would like to go more for any Python implementation, so that people will get to know more about this thing. So uh, at the moment, I have one series that is going on. Later, when I get time and when I have those materials ready, then I would definitely uh, go with this thing, because I know that particular playlist is not complete. But uh, at the moment, I have other plans, so I'll go with accordingly. But definitely, I have plans to complete that deep learning series as well. Waiting for a few more questions. I hope so. Uh, Other questions are covered here, but I don't see many people joining. Yeah, maybe some network issues, or it's late. Yeah, go on, guys. You can ask any other questions related to data science or Python, machine learning, or any other topics. Vaibhav Shinde, can you rephrase that question? I didn't get that. Pranav is asking, do you have plans to do projects? Uh, Live projects, I don't have any plans yet. But if you would like to have a look at my projects, you can visit my GitHub link. There, you can see my academic projects, what I've done in my university, and also some of the projects that I've done in my bachelor's, and from some of the summer camps that I have attended here. You can have a look at those. But yeah, projects definitely we can do that. But maybe we can have a plan, something like we can take from Kaggle and do the implementation, and we can see like how it goes and so on. Yeah, so we can do that. Any other questions? Come on. Mhm. I'm also studying in Germany, and I'm from electrical background and trying to switch to data science. So what kind of projects should I have in my portfolio? Yeah, that's a very nice question. So like regardless, you are in different fields. So whether it's electrical or any other field, it is a very good option or a wise option that I would say that you switch to data science, because there are many different wide applications that you can apply here. The thing is like, yeah, definitely you should have certain projects in your portfolio. So how I would suggest is like, so people, in a general case, people what usually they do is they do a couple of Python projects, some development projects, they build some machine learning models, and then they do it. So that's one general thing. So in certain resumes, what I have seen is like, people take some example from the Kaggle or somewhere else, and they do some of the coding, and they just build a model. So that's the end of the story. So for them, but that's not the case. So the thing is like, you have to if you're taking a Python project, so make sure you're following each and every data science pipeline, like starting from data collection, you do the exploratory data analysis, you do the statistical test, then you do the model building, and if possible, you can also do the model deployment. So once this four or five components are done, that means you have a complete idea of how a data science project, or what all, or through what phases this project goes on. So that gives you a clear picture of how you should plan your project, and how you should timeline it accordingly. So that's how is it. So like usually when people see different projects, just for them it's like model building, you do a decision tree classifier or knife base, or you build some logistic regression or neural networks, that's it. No, but the thing is, ask yourself, once you build that model, what you are going to do with that? Will you keep it in your machine and just that's it? No, you have to deploy it somewhere, right? So for that, you build certain web applications like in Flask or Django. Yeah, so then you host it somewhere, and then you can deploy it. Like I said a few minutes ago, someone asked about ML ops. So these things are basically operations pipeline where they do the model deployment, and they do the maintenance. So that's how you get an end-to-end idea of the projects, how they are handled in the industry, or uh, where your model actually sits. So that is one thing. So try to do an end-to-end model deployment if possible in Python. And so that's with the Python. And the second thing is you must always have a statistical project, at least one statistical project in your portfolio resume. Because when it comes to machine learning or data science, people always think like uh, it's just learning Python, knowing about the machine learning models and building the models, and that's it. No, it's not that the case. On at the very first, or at the even at the beginning of these things comes the statistics. So definitely you should possess a certain amount of knowledge, or you must show some kind of proficiency uh, for certain statistical concepts. Because in the real life also, if you go for a data science interview roles, people usually ask some certain questions regarding to statistics. So unless and until you do one statistics project, you will not have the idea, or that is a basic estimate, right? So even if you build any machine learning model in Python or so, and if you don't have that good accuracy, or if you do some kind of train test split or some random split, so there also some kind of randomness comes, but you have to give justification. So that justification will be purely based on statistics. So that's the reason why I said, when you build a portfolio, obviously if you have three Python projects, then at least one R project should be there. So that makes your profile complete. So when interviewer looks at your resume, he or she will be definitely interested in knowing what exactly you have done in statistics. So at the first, when they are in the interview call, when they ask about statistics, they might be interested to know what you have done in the statistics project. So you can definitely say like, you have done this many things, so and so forth. So then if you have a clear picture of what thing you have done, then they might ask very less questions related to statistics, because statistics is by far where people have very much fear inside them, that they cannot uh, convey the concepts very properly, or because they get some random answers, and like things are there. So, in order to avoid all those things, make sure you do one good statistical project in R language. So that's not that difficult. I mean, to learn the R syntax and all, it's not that difficult. But make sure you do one statistical project in R also. In my university, I also did one statistical project in R. You can find that also in the GitHub link. And also, whenever you make your projects, post it on GitHub, then give proper README and explain what all things you have done. So yeah, so with related to that question, that which projects you should have in your portfolio. So I would say in general, Python projects, like you can start with the basic. You can take from Kaggle. Don't take the Titanic dataset. Apart from that, do some domain related. Like you can choose different domains. Like you can choose one financial, or you can choose on medical domain. So people are interested to know more in this, and with this topic you can do projects. So else if you do it randomly, then that won't make any sense. So that is the rationale behind this thing. So make sure you do Python projects as well as one statistical project in R, because R, like, interviewer also expects like not everyone will know R. So everyone needs Python at this point of time. So yeah, Python definitely you have to give more weightage, but for showing your statistical proficiency, you must also do one project in R as well. Rupesh Gujar is asking how to do masters in Germany, how much it costs. Uh, yeah, so for Germany, I mean, like here I would say, uh, like on like see the it's a 2 years course. So how I would answer is like, on an average, in general, it would cost you around, like for 2 years, maybe 10 to 20 lakhs on an average, depending on which city you are going and for which course you are taking, which university, if it's a public university or if it's a private university, depends on various factors. So give, I would not give a point estimate here. Instead, I will give a range from 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs, somewhere in this range. You can do your masters. But that has different hidden charges also. So here a general thing is like education is free, but the level of education or the quality of education is really good. It is worth, but you definitely have to invest time in certain things that you must develop over a period of time. So that is one thing. So, and then there are many other factors that would affect. So I think I've answered that question. uh, yeah, Pranav is asking, would you suggest some good data set for a stat project? Yeah, for statistical project, I would, uh, I have a list of a couple of links where you can find this thing. In general, at the most, where people have this kind of data sets posted is one from OSF. Uh, that is the Open Science Framework. Uh, CE, OSF. So this is the framework. I mean, like in this, people usually post. So like when you ask about statistics data set, the thing is like the freshness of the data. So how frequently they are updating. So that I find very like frequently updating, that they are posting their data sets, or if it's old or if it's irrelevant, they are removing and then they are pushing it back onto this repository. So this is one good link or website. So it's open source, it's for researchers and people who are doing more into different fields. So there are different wide varieties that you can choose from this. There are different categories. I would definitely uh, suggest people who are interested in doing stats projects to take ideas from this particular website. They definitely give dataset. Also, they have sample scripts in R language so that you get to know for this particular problem or for this particular dataset what kind of plots are essential. So that is uh, very mandatory. Like I've seen, like for in general, what people do is they make histograms, they do bar plots, but they don't know the difference between what is histogram and what is bar plot, or when to use which plot, or they do box plot. So like it's not like for every problem statement or for every data set you'll use bar plot or histogram or box plot. It's not like that. It depends upon what kind of analysis you are doing. So you will get to know only those kind of ideas by doing stats project. So then later down the line, when you do Python project, it will be very easy for you to plot any confusion matrix or even box plot, or how you can develop different plots or different ideas. So yeah, so definitely check this particular website, that is Open Science Framework, OSF. There are many other, I would say data.world is also there. You can take from those websites as well. A very good data sets. Also, they have considered the freshness of the data set, so you can take your data or get the project ideas from there as well. Happy teachers. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. Then next question is, can you please suggest what I can do to get some good projects? Uh, Good projects. I would say people usually take projects from Kaggle. So Kaggle is one good, but don't, I mean, like take very simple data sets from Kaggle. Uh, yeah, the reason why I've mentioned Kaggle is because also when you apply for any interviews, I mean, not most of them, but few of the interviewers, they ask like how relevant you are or how consistent you are on Kaggle. So, and some of them ask even you, do you know about Kaggle website or what happens in that? Because there are different competitions and so on. So for that, I would say like if you want to get any project ideas, definitely take from Kaggle and like you'll get to know. So Kaggle has a different base for Python projects as well as R projects. We can get the project ideas from there itself. I mean, like you can also see, and the one best thing is like uh, they have different notebooks updated, different kernels are there, so you can see how people have implemented their code or what is their logic for solving that kind of problem statement. So these things you can get to know from Kaggle. I mean, there are different other sources also, like you can improve your for coding skills. I don't know how many people know lead code. So lead code is one place where you can improve your coding skills. Like usually software developers do that, they try to improve their JavaScript skills or Java skills or Python skills. So yeah, so like you have to practice both, not only see other people's work but definitely also have to uh, do it by yourself. Then only you'll get to know about what projects you can take, or basically just create a area of interest, whether you are interested in financial domain or whether you are interested in medical domain, and accordingly then do it at the start when you are just learning to do, or if you want to put or to get some internships at least, you can start with not the basic but an intermediate Kaggle project which you can showcase, okay, I've taken from Kaggle, I've done this things, and so that you can explain it in a very nice way. So, and then later, once you do a different variety of projects, say you have done 3 projects in uh, financial domain, or you did some of the projects in medical domain, then you'll get to know where your interest lies, and you can then later focus in that particular area. You need not have both, like financial as well as medical. Who does that? So just only one domain where you can have your focus, or where you want to do your research, or where you want to apply your skills and your knowledge. Then, what is the scope of big data and Python in future? And which should I learn first? Big data, I would say, like big data is everywhere, right? So, I mean, big data is uh, big data way back in 2015 or 2013 this started, but currently, like you have different hardwares, and like the hardware cost reduced. That's the reason why you have today this deep learning and stuff that is going on. Because earlier also these things were there, but due to the lack of very good machines and to do the data processing, I mean, like you didn't have any resources, you need to have supercomputers in order to do your work. But now, even if you invest in a good laptop and then you can do these things, I mean, like there is no harm. So definitely big data is there, I mean, around us. So but uh, and in order to do that you have to know Python. So definitely Python, I don't know about the future of Python, because tomorrow if some other language overtakes, then you can't say, I mean anything can happen. But at the moment Python is in a very boom. So like, so if you think about the different applications, so like not only for big data, say like you do data analysis, like you can do medical data analysis. Just for ed, exploratory data analysis, you can do statistics, but for statistics let's give that part to R, not to Python, because Python is meant for developers and web development. So so I was saying, you can use Python for basic data analysis. then you can use Python for web development. So that is one thing. You can build Flask and web applications based on Python. So that is one thing. Then you can do, or you can use Python for doing unit testing. So people hardly do that thing because they have a different testing team and uh, different communities like that. But in Python you can do unit testing, and you can do different kinds of other sanity checks and things like that. So first is like you can do data analysis, web development, then unit testing and model development, like in TensorFlow, scikit-learn. Like different frameworks are there, PyTorch, Theano. So you can definitely build your models there. And uh, the thing is, like with the other technologies like Docker or CI/CD pipeline or whatever it be, it will have a very good binding with Python. So that is the reason why it is said like Python has a very good, I mean, uh, like wide applications throughout. So I don't know the future, but future is very bright for Python. That only I can say. But definitely you should learn Python, and yeah, just focus on what exactly you want to do. Whether you want to become a statistician, then you just need to know only the different things related to data analysis, like time series, or how you can plot time related data or things like that. Or else, if you are interested in knowing about model development, or how you can integrate your machine learning models or in order to improve them, then definitely you can like learn. There are different, so that is very, I mean, very open source communities are there for Python, so you can reach out to anyone like in Stack Overflow or in other communities as well. So there is not much difficulty in learning. Just invest your time at the proper place, where exactly you want to go. So that is one thing I would say. Yeah. Which should I learn first? I mean, start with Python. So that's what I said. First learn Python. So first fix Python, and then ask in which domain you want to go, and then learn Python for data analysis, because because Python is very extensive, so you can't learn everything once in your lifetime. So so that is the thing. So first you can uh, do for Python for ED, exploratory data analysis, that thing. Then model development, web development is there for testing, and for other purposes as well. So like you should first know like what you want to do with Python, and then learn Python accordingly. Yeah, so it depends. So if you else want to build some data structures related to that, if you are targeting for some product based companies like Amazon or Google, uh, places where you want to master your skills, or you want to showcase your data structure skills, so Python can be also used there. So for that you need to know the OOPS concept, that is object oriented programming concept. So how you can modularize your code in order to achieve better performance. Or I would say, like, if you are interested in knowing for how you can optimize your code, so then there are different optimization things that you can do in Python. So that all relates with data structures. So so far my discussion on Python, like you might have get the idea like how vast Python is. So like it depends on which area you want to go into. Where can I practice Python from, given I have very little background in programming? Yeah, so if you have very little background in programming, I would definitely suggest you to take, I mean, just learn from basic Python. Just start with the basic data structures in Python that you can find from my channel. I have covered a basic idea of what the different, I mean, like a basic a beginner should know. That is a skill series I have in my channel. So you can follow that definitely to get to know what different data structures and are there. Then how you can use the control statements, and flow statements, and yeah, things are there. So related to heap, memory management stuffs are there, but then start with the basic, and later, once you are very good in knowing that, then you can migrate to places like hacker rank. Then there are places like lead code, which I mentioned a few moments earlier. So these are the places where you can shape up your skills. So else, if you just only look from YouTube or some, I mean, random places or blogs, you will not get to know like how you can code. So if you want to master Python from beginner, so you will not be always beginner, right? So from beginner you have to move to next level. So for that you have to practice from hacker rank and then lead code. Because lead code, why I'm focusing more is because people don't speak about this lead code, but in the market, when recruiters or when you apply for companies, and if you say them like you practice Python or other programming languages from lead code, definitely that is a plus. Because uh, yeah, that is one thing you can do. And also you can practice Python and uh, see how people answer Python related questions, and that you can do from Stack Overflow. So Stack Overflow I would definitely suggest, because I myself find it very useful. Because when I was doing my statistical project, and I had absolutely no idea about the syntax, and I was just learning. Because at my university also they had a small course for knowing the Python, knowing the R. I'm sorry. But then it comes to project, you have to implement certain things in a certain way. So that is my experience that I'm sharing. So Stack Overflow is one such good community. If you post questions, your problems in a very constructive way, there are millions of people out there who can help you very nicely. So I mean, like, if you post one question, or if you say I have tried the following, but I'm not getting this kind of output, or this is not what I'm expecting, then if they find it interesting, then they will give you different kind of implementations that they have. So just for one question you will receive 5 or 6 answers, so you will have options, and also you can see how people think for this particular kind of problem. So that's where your problem solving skills comes into picture. So you're posting one problem, and people out there in Stack Overflow, they are looking onto your problem, and they are analyzing from their experiences and their skills how they can tackle this problem, or how they can come up with a solution. So that definitely I found it's very helpful. For Python, it's, I mean, like, there are many people watching out there for questions. Yeah, so one thing, and definitely you can read the answers from that. So people ask certain questions, like for example, uh, if I was interviewing uh, some of you, so then I can ask like questions, why numpy arrays are faster, and why don't you implement normal arrays in Python. So people would need a couple of time to think for this kind of question. So if you search for this question, why numpy arrays are faster, in Stack Overflow, then you can definitely see a very good, I mean, like, very good constructive answer that they have given, how the internals of this numpy is built, and what is the reason that it is faster and superior to other data structures, and why it is uh, outstanding in Python, and why people mostly use, or I mean, majority of the libraries are built on top of NumPy. Even pandas are built on top of NumPy. So what makes it so efficient? So you need to know those kind of answers. So those kind of answers, if you read from any blog post or from somewhere else, it is very difficult. Obviously, you can get it because people usually take from other websites or from their experiences they write. But definitely, if you want to get to know about more insights, or like there people will actually not only will help you, but they'll show you the code, what kind of code you have to write it, what optimization techniques you have to apply for this. Not just they'll solve your problem, but they'll also give a constructive and wise idea in order to do that. So that's why I would suggest Stack Overflow is very good, uh, uh, a very good place that you can also practice. I mean, by looking at the syntax and stuffs, you can get to know like how you can change certain things in your code. So it may be for like you have written some particular function or some particular thing. Say, for example, you are writing a program for generating Fibonacci series. So that may be, I mean, you have learned in Java or C or in some other programming languages, but in Python there are, I mean, 5 or 6 ways you can write that. So definitely, if you just learn only one technique and if you learn it throughout your lifetime, that's of no use. Definitely, you have to see and reach out to other people how you can optimize this, or with minimal lines of code how you can write your Python code. So that definitely you can see from Stack Overflow and this kind of websites. Stack Overflow is the, I mean, must. And the thing is like you can also respond to other people's problems. So from that perspective, what I can say is like you are developing your problem solving skills. So other person's problem, if you are taking as your own problem, you will give to that very considerate attention, and then with your skills you also you can help them out. So by that, if other people sees your answers, what happens is like there you can see upwards. So upwards means like how much they are considering that as a useful question or not. So by that you'll get to know, okay, my coding skills are okay this up to this level, or if 4 or 5 people are upvoting my answer, then I am on a right track. So that's why I would suggest Stack Overflow is a very good place, not only to learn from other people, but also you can develop your own skills like problem solving skills. With problem solving skills, you're definitely improving your Python skills. Yeah. So, I mean, very wide talk for that. Uh, what is the roadmap of Python? Roadmap of Python, I would suggest is like start with so if I had to start over to learn Python, how I would do is like first I would do some theoretical or background checking of Python. What is Python? Features of Python? Why Python is useful? I mean, like why it is used in different domains, and I mean different things are there. So just a theoretical thing, but that thing you should learn with a perspective that you are going for an interview. So with respect to interview questions, what are the basic theoretical questions that you can expect from Python? Because in general, what happens in a data science interview is like they keep different sections. So some have technical rounds. In technical rounds, they ask questions related to machine learning and some questions related to Python as well. Like just a moment, I said why NumPy arrays are faster, things like that. So in order to answer those questions, first you should have a theoretical knowledge of Python, and then what you need to do is the roadmap is first learn the theoretical things about Python, get to know what these things, what different features are there, then the different concepts are there, because for different programming languages, it is implemented in a different way. So in C language, you have something called as pass by value, pass by reference. In Python also, you have those things, but it is mostly using the pass by reference concept. So there are certain things in Python, like if you say about control statements, you don't have switch statement in Python. So you do that with the help of if else, while in Java or C you have switch statements. So these are very minute differences that you can see while you learn different programming languages. So that is one thing. So then you learn about different data structures that are there in Python. Like you have uh, like there are, I mean, wide variety. I mean, I can say list are there, tuple are there, dict are there, then set are there. Then you also have to know why. or what is an alternative for these of these data structures. Like if at some places you are not able to implement dict, then what is an alternative? There are something called as named tuple, default dict, things like that, frozen set. And why these data structures are there in existent, and why you can't use the older ones. So knowledge about data structure is very essential, because that is the foundation for learning any programming language. So if you want to grow beyond data structures, it's your choice, but data structures is a must. So you have to have a basic idea of the data structures in whatever programming language, regardless it's Python. Because I also have learned data structures in C, in Java also. So like in Python's data structure is a little different. In a different implementation technique, you have different things there, so you definitely have to get to know about that. And then once you have that, then there are different features, like different functions you can use in that, like certain lambda functions or different concepts of generators, decorators. These things are there, so you need to definitely get to know about where these things are used. And I would suggest is like then what you can do is you can target for different libraries, like different modules and packages. So usually what people do is people keep pandas, numpy, matplotlib, scikit-learn, sklearn. That's it. So that is okay, that I would suggest for a beginner or for intermediate person. So but definitely you should know everything in this libraries what you're mentioning. So you should know the A to Z about pandas, numpy, everything, matplotlib, scikit-learn. Because if they ask you in real time, or if uh, they are keeping a pair programming, and if they want to see your programming skills, how you are typing and what is your thinking logic and how is your approach, then definitely you should know these things what you have mentioned in your resume. So that's why I'm saying, like for uh, this packages, you definitely have to invest your time learning these packages. It depends how much depth you want to go into these packages, like for pandas, numpy, because it's very vast, right? So like you do numerical computation using, or scientific computation using numpy. Then even pandas uh, is built on top of numpy, so that's why definitely have to know both numpy and pandas. That is very essential. And then you do some basic plots from matplotlib or cbond. Yeah, so that is for data visualization thing. So you do data, that is exploratory data analysis, EDA, from pandas, numpy. You do some computation with this mathematical computation. Then you do data visualization with the help of your matplotlib or cbond. And then you also have to mention scikit-learn and sklearn, because there you build your machine learning models, right? You build your naive base, you build your decision tree, you build your neural networks. And something related to clustering also, like k-means clustering, you can build with the help of sklearn. So those things, so this gives you a complete package. Even for beginner, even for intermediate, this is essential. For experienced people, they need some more years of experience on different tools and technologies, but whatever I've said till here, it is for beginner level, or for intermediate people, they can follow this. So that's it. And then you definitely have to practice it daily. So programming is one thing, is like you tend to forget it, because once you learn these many things, because there is a vast, I mean, it's an ocean. Python is definitely an ocean, so you definitely can't remember all the syntaxes. So for that, you need to have practice daily. So without coding practice daily, you can't get a grip of that Python in your hand. Else you'll have shivering in your hand when you'll type. So that thing should not happen when you go for any interview. So that's the reason why I say, like, take some time daily. Uh, I mean, like, I don't know, maybe 15, not 15 minutes. 15 minutes is very less. Maybe 1 hour or 2 hour. Definitely, you must give yourself time to practice different concepts, or like different techniques in Python. Just uh, look from Stack Overflow, visit, invest your time there instead of putting your time in social media on Facebook or Instagram. Just put your see how people are writing those things. So that's how you develop these things. So I said these things repeatedly again. So yeah, so definitely I would suggest you to practice Python. So not by knowing all these things. So definitely you have to revise this, but you also have to do the practice. So practice makes man perfect, also teachers perfect, also programmers perfect, everyone perfect. So practice is foremost, and it should be done daily. Okay. Yeah. Rahul Narhare is asking, is data structure and algorithm required for Python code? So again, I would answer this question in this way because it depends, like where you want to go, right? So if you have an idea, okay, so let's answer this question in this way. So uh, So if you want to go to some product-based companies like Amazon, Google, then Facebook, Apple, this kind of companies, so there they heavily promote data structures, building their own products and stuffs there. They do optimization and they do build different things because you users know about all those things. I also know because I use certain products. So for doing those things or to get optimization or to build efficient data structures, and to get placed in those companies, you definitely have to learn data structure. And not only data structure, I would add one more thing to that, that is object oriented programming. So if you look at any implementations behind the hood, or if you type something in Python, whether in pandas or numpy, if you get the error, you look at the trace back, you will see everything in object oriented thing. So the thing is, or the king behind all these things are oops concept. So definitely with data structure, you need to know oops concept. So yeah, so that is one thing. Data structure is for everyone, like for beginners or intermediate, whomever it be, at whatever position, beginner, whomever it be. So, but definitely you have to know data structure. So that is for must. And yeah, so I think I've answered that is data structure. Yeah. So and algorithm knowledge is also definitely useful because what I can say with regard to this is if you build some machine learning model or some deep learning model, usually you import from certain libraries and then you implement that. But everyone does that, right? But if someone wants your own implementation of that, or if they want you to come up with a new algorithm, how would you do that? So for doing that, you definitely need to know data structure, where to use which kind of techniques or where to use which optimization. So that is very essential for that. Yeah, so I hope I answered that question. And will this session be uploaded in your channel? Yeah, definitely. I mean, like this is live streaming, so after I end this, it will be uploaded. Yeah, else I'll make sure that it is there in my channel. It's not deleted or it's not gone anywhere. Yeah, definitely. So that you can play back and see what things I have said. Yeah, and go on. You can ask many more questions. I still have time. I've not given the end time of the session, but maybe we started at Indian time 4. Before that, maybe 1 hour we can talk. Yeah, ask more questions. Yeah, definitely these questions are. I mean, like even I can answer many questions out of this. So definitely ask this kind of questions. I'm waiting. Yeah. You can ask how I schedule my learning, how I prepare for video lectures, what kind of software I use. You can, I mean, I have pretty much questions, but I'm not getting the questions. You can ask about how I edit videos. Not too much edit I do, but definitely you can ask those things. What gears I can use. What, I mean, related with my background, my education, what I do here in Germany. You can ask many questions. Yeah, definitely. Ask. The session is Ask Ranji. Please ask more questions. So, yeah, um, I would. So for Python itself, I can say like you can start from lead code. So lead code is one place where people usually do many kind of programming. In fact, I personally use lead code, but at the moment I have some other commitments, so that's why I don't use or I don't sit with lead code. But you can definitely improve your coding skills there. Kaggle is also one good option. Hacker Rank, yeah, these are the common places. Else, yeah, no, these are the places where you can at least, if interviewer also ask, where do you learn Python coding, or from where do you, uh, where do you learn, or where do you have the skills from Python? Definitely, you can say these sources. So that is definitely uh, uh, going to help you in your interviews. Ask more questions, or else I will ask one question. Um, is the current data science interview series, should I move forward, or should I make something else, or is it okay? Because I seen a couple of people are interested in knowing this series. Let me know here so that I can come up with even more bright questions and questions that have not people widely faced in interviews. But here, how in Germany, uh, because here I appeared for certain interviews, so from there also I can share my experience, what kind of different questions they ask in interviews. So I definitely can help in that direction as well. How much time did it take for you to gain confidence in programming? Uh, Still at the moment, I don't have that much confidence. If you say like if it is a pair programming, still I find it difficult. But if I would have to say a time exactly from my bachelor's, I started with the programming. So I started with C programming at the beginning. Uh, so I don't have C++ experience, and I have Python. Then definitely Java is there. But Python, I have an experience of 4 years experience, or four, or maybe 3.5, not four. Yeah, 3.5 or four in between that. But it definitely takes time. Yeah, it depends on the number of projects that you do, and yeah, the more the projects you do, the more you invest the time in this programming or Python, your confidence will improve accordingly. Yeah, so like it's I mean like talking about confidence, if you practice Python daily, if you go through all the things that I've mentioned, or if you make a plan accordingly for learning Python itself on common libraries, modules, packages like NumPy, Pandas, and these things, definitely I would say you can crack basic of the basic interviews. Not at, I mean like if you get an interview call for some of the companies, at least you, for the programming part or for the coding part, you definitely can have, or you definitely can crack those interviews. So At least I can say. But definitely you have to make a schedule to learn Python, and if you do that, only then you'll have confidence. So confidence, I mean, for me, it's not. I mean, I can't answer at the moment because still I'm learning. Because I can't do a pair programming session in any of the, uh, because for me in programming is like I need some time to think and implement and search at certain places, and then I do it. So yeah, so for me it takes. I mean, I can't do immediate Python coding, but I'll take some time. But for machine learning concepts, I definitely can. I mean, I definitely have an interest, but Python skills I'm also developing. Yeah, I mean, like like I said, there are different things in Python. So you have to give yourself a huge amount of time to learn all those things. So, like, if you are a web developer, then it's more, I can say, concise. Like, you have to know certain frameworks like Flask or Django to build them. You have to know some web services, RESTful services, API services, how API calls are done. These things that is done. Their job is not to do statistical analysis or to build models. Their job is to do web development, so that they can do. So they have something. So they have like to know Django or Flask or web services, RESTful APIs, and how to make APIs in Python. These things, JSON request and stuff like that. So that is sorted. So they know these things. Okay, I have to learn these five things in order to become web developer. So that is done. So for them, data structures might not be that useful because they might be working on some other technology like npm or things like that. So that's where you have to focus, where you want to invest your time, and from Python what you want to become. Okay, so if you learn Python, what you want to become from Python? So that question you have to ask yourself, and with that, then I would say, like, confidence in learning that kind of thing or in Python especially would not be a problem. Yeah, I hope I have answered that question, because it's very relative to people. It depends. For me, I still need some time. Yeah, still not that 100% confidence. If you give me one problem statement, I can't. At the moment, I can't do. I mean, coding. I'm not a that good coder, but yeah, definitely I can do a little bit of coding, and I know about these things and how it is done. So more questions. So we'll do this session till 5 o'clock there. So now it's, I guess, 4:35 in India. So maybe we can go until 5 o'clock. Thank you for the wishes. More questions? You still have time. You can ask questions. On the chat, I have put a poll, so you can answer those, and I'll definitely try to follow that. How many people are watching? Five. There got 25 votes. Now I think people are dropping out. That's the reason why. Okay, but yeah, just let me know. Do you like to have live sessions every Sunday or every month? I should do it. Yeah, depending upon my availability. Yeah. So yeah, but definitely every week videos would be coming. So I definitely had some other commitments in the last few months. That's why I was not that active. So yeah, but definitely, yeah, from now I can do it. Yeah, one more question I see now. Can you please give us data science roadmap for people who are completely new to computer science world? The roadmap, I would say it's a big picture. I have to prepare something later, not at the moment, but I mean, to summarize it, I can say like there are different things like uh, so. So if I would have to answer this question for roadmap of data science, you have different things in place, right? So like so start with the real world example. So first question is why do you want to learn data science? So that would be my first question. If I want to learn something, so I will ask myself why I should learn or why I should invest my time. Okay. So uh, in data science the thing is like you can solve real world problems. Okay, so it's not like you are just building an application or something else, you are learning programming for some purpose, you are not sure about that thing. It's not like that. So in data science actually you can see real world projects. Okay, there are tons of projects, real world examples you can see. And uh, you have different algorithms, and these algorithms are classified into machine learning, deep learning, and other algorithms. There are different domains of this thing. So once you have this problem in the real world, so that is always a data science problem. So there is no problem in the world that is not data science, each and everything. So itself the data science word itself is data and science. So everything, you itself, I myself, everything is data and everything is science. So whatever in this world would be a real world problem. So what people try to do is they try to solve in a data science perspective. So in order to solve those kind of problems, what you should have is you should definitely have some algorithms. In some way you structure, in some way some instructions will be there, some pseudocode will be there, you will be following those things. Yeah, so for that you have certain categories, or depending upon your problem you'll have machine learning, or like you do classification, you do regression, or for deep learning you'll try to simulate the what neural network or stuffs like that. So there are different things. So once you do this, or once you have this category done, or you analyze, like you want to do a clustering activity, or you want to build certain models in order to predict, or in order to automate certain tasks which are there, or in the real world that may be very monotonous to do, but with the help of data science or with machine learning algorithms, obviously you have very good hardware at this point of time, you can definitely invest your time and money and you can learn these things. Okay, so there are different algorithms. So that is, so far the thing is like you are doing a literature overview and you are doing a fact check, and you know, okay, for clustering I have to use these algorithms, for classification I have to use this algorithm, for regression problem I have to use this algorithms. Then the problem is, okay, so then you are halfway. Then the thing is like, in order to implement this problem, you have to know certain skills. What are those skills? Then comes Python. You need to know Python programming for that. Then you need to know something related to database as well. How do you store this data? Which kind of databases are there in the market, and how they integrate with the programming language that you are learning. Like with Python goes with MySQL, SQL Alchemy, SQLite, Postgres. There are different uh, databases out there. So once you have this, you extract, you store this in somewhere. So for that, you need to have database knowledge. Once you have this, then you build your model. Okay, once you put your data and you cache from somewhere, you have a abstract overview of what thing you are doing for solving that real world problem. That problem is still there in front of you, but in order to achieve that, you have to develop a mind map. So once you have that programming skills in Python, so at the moment I'm talking about Python, and then you have some database knowledge, say SQL or MySQLite. There are many out there. Once you have these things, you develop your model. So at the first cut, you have a perspective of this thing. Okay, this problem has to be solved in this way. I will use different machine learning algorithms. So I will not have a specific answer. So for this problem, I will only use decision trees. I will only use naive Bayes, or I will only use neural networks. No, it's not like that. You have to try different machine learning models, and you have to estimate their parameters and accuracy. And you have to do certain hyperparameter tuning. Then there are many technical things inside that. Or you do ensemble learning, you put all the machine learning models into production, and then you give a combined accuracy or combined precision recall, some score you will give there. So that is one thing. So so that's where you have to invest your time in different things, so you get the idea, right, how vast this thing is. So it's not like you learn 3 4 algorithms. No, it's not like that. Depending upon the problem that you're trying to solve, you need to have an idea which kind of algorithms or from which category of algorithm I have to implement this thing. Okay, then the thing is, once you build this model, then you deploy this, you share or you show it to someone. I have done these things, so this is my implementation pipeline. I have done so and so for things, and this is the accuracy for solving the real world problem. So that is a complete end-to-end thing that I've spoken. So this is the approach that you should keep in mind whenever you tackle with any data science related problem in the real world. So I mean, I've missed on some points here when I spoke, because yeah, just came out of my mind. But if you really want, I can make a complete roadmap of different things that you can try it out. But I hope you got a mind map of how this thing actually is. Yeah. uh, Rahul is asking, what is the difference between machine learning and deep learning? I mean, like, people don't. And what is the difference? There is no difference. And why do you want to see it as a difference, first of all? I mean, like, it all comes under one umbrella, right? So, like, it all comes under artificial intelligence. In machine learning, you have certain algorithms, like not neural networks and LSTMs, then what your recurrent neural networks, BERT, transformers, GPT, these things and all comes under deep learning. Okay, machine learning is, I mean, it is used to solve problems that are not very complex or not very huge. I mean, like, which can be done on a domestic scale. So, like, so in deep learning, usually you see, like, it is in a distributed environment or like very huge applications. Like, if you want to, uh, say, for example, for identifying neurodegenerative diseases. Now, if I want to say this thing, want to explain this, how I can say is like neurodegenerative diseases are something uh, which is caused in the brain. If you know Alzheimer's disease, Yeah, so there you have certain protein folding structures in the brain due to which people get this kind of diseases inside their brain. So in order to solve those kind of problems, you have to get images out of that. You need to analyze patients MRI scanning, and you'll get to know the pictures of the brain internals where that particular uh, deformity is there. Okay, and to get these things, so now that I directly pointed to the head, so that relates to neural. So you know where deep learning now has to be applied, right? So then you take these images. So now that images should be of very high quality, else your machine learning model or whatever deep learning model you are trying to build will be not able to understand or will not be able to do the training. So for that you need to have very high quality images. Yeah, so for that usually you have RGB colored images or grayscale images depending upon what kind of problem or how you want to store the things. So uh, definitely, so first identifying this kind of problems, you'll get to know like from a different set of patients you will have very huge kind of data for this, because you have to train such a big huge model. And to train such big huge model, you need to definitely have a good hardware or some set of supercomputers or some powerful machine in order to do these things. With the normal machine learning algorithm, what you can do classification, but it won't take that much amount of load or the amount of data. And the data, I would say the data of these images from the brain or wherever it be, from the human body internals or intestine or from wherever it be, these are of very high quality resolutions. Okay, so you need to store it in a very good, I mean, it will take considerable amount of storage. Maybe the data storage size would be of 15 GB or 40 GB or even more than that. So in order to take this data, so now these images are your data. You take this data, you feed to a machine, and some algorithm. Normal algorithm won't work. Machine learning algorithms are for classification and for very small data sets. So that's what I said. For domestic applications, you run this machine learning things. Very small set of maybe 12,000 rows or like that. So for text data, for kind of other kind of images which are not very of high quality. Here what you have is very high resolution images, but then you also have to train your model, and the model also has to give good accuracy, identifying that at this point or at this portion in the brain or somewhere the patient has deformity or so. So there you need to invest on hardware. You can't put on some normal local machine and then you can do it. So there definitely deep learning will be useful. So I hope with this example you got an idea of where you can apply machine learning or and for which problems you can use deep learning. And in deep learning, depending upon the hardware and the data and the time you will have for your project, you will need to implement different algorithms accordingly. So that's where I mean the difference lies. Basically there is no difference. If you go for any data science interview, they will ask both machine learning, deep learning, both things they'll ask. So that is for sure, they expect these things for you should know. But in a general, if someone asks, you can say with an example like these things. If you have a very large data set, or if there is a huge demand for the hardware in order to process the data, in order to have a good training for your underlying model, definitely there deep learning things, especially with the images. And if you are using your data input data is in form of images, definitely you need to use for deep learning steps. Other techniques will work. Supervised techniques or semi-supervised techniques also will work, but it will not give that good accuracy as compared to deep learning things. So now at the present moment, everyone is behind deep learning, but get to know where deep learning is applied and where machine learning is applied. So that is the difference I can say about what is ML and what is DL. Um, Abhinandu, saying your virus technology videos, I watched it, was really helpful. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for that. Uh, Ravi Kiran is asking, please make a video series on GPTs or BUDs. Yeah, definitely. I have this thing in my list, but at the moment, I have different commitments. I'm in a different workflow, but definitely I would do it in the future. I mean, I would do in a proper way, not just in an abstract way. I would definitely give the overview, theoretical knowledge, and also I will do practical implementation if I can have those data sets uh, at hand. So definitely I can do these things. But at the moment, since I am only managing this thing, it becomes a little difficult. Yeah, but definitely I want to have this videos or about these things. Yeah, definitely I can do that. Yeah, hope you understood that. Yeah, let's see the time. Yeah, okay, so 7 more minutes. You can ask questions related to anything. So far, we had a very good discussion. Yes, go ahead. Any more questions? You have the last 7 minutes to ask the questions. I'll check if I answered all the questions which I got earlier or if I have not missed on any of the questions. Mm, yeah, I think I've missed one of the questions here from Adrija Ghosh. Even I'm from electrical background and work experience in SAP, and currently I'm studying at OVGU. Oh, you're from the same university. Uh, yeah. For me, getting projects is also being a bit difficult as I don't have the background. Um I would say like you can approach your professors like under whom you are working or studying. So ask them, and like maybe if not projects, then you can also, since you mentioned you have some work experience in SAP, so definitely you can search for some internships at this point of time. If not getting projects, but should not sit idle. So what I would suggest is like start applying for some companies. If you are having that SAP experience, that is a plus definitely. You can apply on certain job portals like there is Honeypot here in Germany. Honeypot runs. Then there is Indeed website. Yeah, and these are the two places that I would suggest is like you can start applying for jobs. You can do the filter, search with this keywords SAP, you can put for what position you want to apply, and you can get different roles depending upon the situation in Germany, how it is there in different cities. Definitely it will help, and it helped many people in getting jobs, and here at least in Germany and from Magdeburg itself. So yeah, definitely try that out. But for projects, you definitely have to ask your professors or uh, them. So only they can help you in that projects. But it's good to always have a work experience because you already have SAP. But if you do some internships for 3 months or even more than that, or a working student position, definitely you will have some more experience than SAP. Then later you come back and then you can start doing projects also. But it's up to you how you want to go about that thing. But for your projects, you have to ask or put mail to your professors. Last 2 minutes, and I have one question. What keeps you motivated? Oh, what keeps me motivated? Basically, I motivate from myself. That is one thing. Uh, I mean, like, what can I say is, uh, so the thing that I follow, and I would suggest to. So now it's 2 minutes, so I have to answer this in a very concise way and in a more constructive way. So I can say is like what I uh, think is, or like what keeps me motivated is like uh, I don't make comparisons with me to any other person. So that you should also definitely do it. So it's like it's very common. So if one person does one thing and other person also is doing that thing, and if third person comes, like, you have to learn from him. Why to do that? You have your skills and you are not comparable. I mean, like, you can't compare yourself with other person. So definitely, I mean, don't compare yourself with other people and do the thing that you're interested in. Let that person whatever he or she wants to tell to you, so just don't care about that, but focus on your work and give your best accordingly. So that's it. So I do that thing just for keeping me myself motivated. Just don't interfere in others business. Just do your own thing, because now after this talk you have so many things to learn: data science, Python. So that's it. So just mind your business, like, keep yourself motivated. So that's what I motivate from myself itself, from my work and from my things. Yeah, so that's okay. So I think it's 5 o'clock there in India, and I think uh, it's time to end this session. So hopefully next Sunday, if possible, or if recurrently, if I can keep meetings, I'll definitely try to keep. But also send this news that I'm keeping live stream to your friends, so that other people can also join and can ask questions, and we can do in a more interactive way. Okay, so yeah, thank you everyone for joining this session, and yeah, hope to see you next time somewhere when I'm keeping in the near future. Yeah, so bye everyone, and definitely I will upload this, or it will automatically uploaded in the uh, YouTube channel. So I have updated in my playlist. So I have a live session playlist, so in that this video would reside, so you can check there. And there are other playlists way back. I've did 3 4 playlists here itself, so you can watch that also. Yeah, but definitely this thing will be there. And people who are or who have not subscribed to yet my channel, please do subscribe, because I definitely have to reach a 40K milestone. So it's very, I mean, I don't know, it's a long time it's pending. But definitely share a word about my channel, about different programming things, and especially now since data science interview questions I'm putting, so maybe I hope that will help more people to get, uh, I mean, know my channel and about me. So definitely that would help. And yeah, people who have not liked this live stream, please do like. And that's it. Thank you so much, and have a nice Sunday and enjoy your day. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.